Purple Daily is daily Vikings entertainment. We just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die.
I will ride with this group.
Seriously, man. Please.
And away we go. Woo!
All right, he's our guy, Darren Doogie Wolfson from the 5 Eyewitness News Sports Department. It's a short week.
I got no mug.
Vikings. Where is your mug?
I got no.
Judd.
I drank my coffee. It's gone.
It's supposed to say I love sports, Dad.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, yes. Although that might not be true. There's a lot of people that maybe don't love sports dad right now, but that's okay.
Why?
I'm not supposed to be your friend. I'm your sports dad.
Judd's been taking some heat for like his Dallas Turner opinions, and yeah, it's kind of funny.
There's always something, Dukes.
What did you say about Dallas Turner? Because if you said he needs to provide more, needs to do more, you're spot on.
Well, that's what we said. Well, but people hear that as bust. So they're like, you called him a bust. I'm like, no, I didn't. So anyway, you know what?
The final chapter hasn't been written on Dallas Turner, but as we evaluate his body of work so far, and hey, Lane Johnson is freaking good. I also wonder if Lane Johnson on that first touchdown to A.J. Brown was perhaps holding Dallas Turner. But Dallas Turner has to give a little bit more effort. I guess was okay, but you can't allow Jalen Hurts that sort of time to pick you apart. So, yes, you are well within your right to rip the body of work that Dallas Turner has provided so far. Doesn't mean he's a bust. We haven't said that, but you're allowed to do that.
Speaking of bodies of work here, Federated Insurance has a great body of work. Over a century of experience working with small and medium-sized businesses, and recently recognized by Forbes as one of America's best in-state employers for 2025, and by Newsweek as one of America's most admired workplaces for 2026. And it just kind of shows you what the work culture is like and the atmosphere at Federated, which is built on a foundation of providing value and partnership to their clients. So Federated Insurance, if you're interested in finding out about how to start your career or maybe pivot your career, go to federatedinsurance.com/careers. They hire a lot of former athletes too. So federatedinsurance.com/careers. Doogie, let's start with quarterback stuff here, because Kevin O'Connell announced yesterday, not much of a shock, that Carson Wentz, Mr. Thursday Night, 7-0 in his career on Thursday Night Football, the greatest Thursday Night Football quarterback in the history of the National Football League. He's going to start. And when asked about JJ McCarthy, O'Connell said, we're all kind of encouraged about where he's at and the progress he's making, but he's just not there right now. Asked what threshold he wants McCarthy to reach before clearing him to start, O'Connell said, quote, it's some of the movements, the reactionary movements within the pocket, being able to use his athleticism to protect himself in the pocket, and then he's able to work through progressions while doing so. I feel really good about the work we've done on the foundation of his fundamentals. That's been pretty evident through the work that he's done and really his commitment to doing that. So that's the update for Thursday night. Kind of feels to me like one more sacrificial Wentz game, although if his 7-0 track record continues, maybe it's a little murkier, but and then maybe priming McCarthy for the early November game against the Lions. What's your read on this?
Well, and hey, Phil, something has to give, right? Because, Wentz, okay, great on Thursday Night Football. The Vikings, not so great going back the last handful of years. What is it, a 4-game Thursday night losing streak, short week losing streak? Something along those lines. They did win in Detroit on Thanksgiving, but I feel like we need to go back a little bit. There's been some losses thereafter. I was among those there on Tuesday, Phil. My reading of it is that there isn't any sort of conspiracy theory, that there's actually truth being told our way. Now, hey, I'm a skeptic by nature. I've always said that. Journalism 101. Why is this person lying to me? In this case, legit high ankle sprain, and he's not all the way there to be able to play a full game. Now, hey, if this game was on Sunday, not Thursday, I think there was even a chance that, okay, JJ could have gone. I do think November 2nd is incredibly realistic. It doesn't matter how Carson plays on Thursday night. He can be brilliant. He can lead the Vikings to a victory, an upset over the Chargers. Slight upset, but still, by point spread's sake, an upset. I don't think it matters. I think we see JJ McCarthy on November 2nd if he continues to trend the way he's been trending. This year is still about us, the Vikings, media, fans, getting some sort of book on JJ McCarthy. Carson hasn't done enough. I mean, I thought Carson was so putrid on Sunday.
It was
I thought he stunk. I really did. The intentional grounding, I still can't figure out. The second interception, what the heck was that? I wish JJ was good enough to go tomorrow night. But I take KOC at face value. I do in this instance that he's just not all the way there. Hopefully he is there on November 2nd.
And I think the thing too, though, is so if there is a positive from this, they're 3-3, but you're going to come back like there is no question now. Like JJ McCarthy, there's no debate about this. Hey, you know, Carson's played well. Carson is just a roller coaster of like, and the problem is he's one of these dudes who he's putrid. Okay, I quit. Oh, now he makes a play. Well, hold on a second. Well, I've seen enough of that act. But the interesting thing here, Dukes, is what do you feel, and not just from the fans, because I know that answer. What do you feel the internal patience is here, though? Because, I mean, you have to put, hopefully, McCarthy back in November 2nd at Ford Field and let him play. And it's not going to be pretty all the time. Like we're sort of geared up now for the reality of there's going to be hiccups, there's going to be speed bumps, there's going to be a lot of things, and you're probably going to lose some games. But what do you think the internal feeling is, starting with the Wilfs, who, by the way, have never wanted to like lose games on purpose, have never wanted to, you know, there is an impatience in that building. So how do you think that whole thing is processed in your mind?
There is, but I feel like the front office, Kwesi and others, have sold ownership on what this plan is. I mean, I wonder deep down, how long did it take to get KOC to buy into the plan? Like going back, you know, a ways, and hey, the decision not to re-sign Sam Darnold, like going back to them. But I feel like the front office has absolutely been on board. I think KOC embraced it at some point along the way, but yeah, it's all about, we need to figure it out.
Yep.
We need to see. And hey, we've discussed this, Judd. How do you solve these mechanical issues that have been alluded to in season? Is that more an off-season fix? And so I don't know. Yes, I mean, presumably they are going to lose games. 11 games remaining right now, favored to only win 2. And I could debate by the time we get to that Bears game in mid-November, Amazon guy here.
Scooby's just protecting you.
Wait.
Scooby.
Oh, he's
Scooby is protecting the family. Way to go, Scooby. Love ya, Scoobs.
Correct. He's the man. Scooby, we're good. He's fine. He's allowed. Good job, buddy.
See a bloody arm in the doorway?
I got.
And that's not a Halloween decoration, I promise.
No.
You open the door, the guy's like dead.
It's Bill the Amazon driver. Sorry, buddy.
Yeah, Scooby's good. But yeah, I mean, it's all about we, as in the Vikings, we media, we fans, everybody needs to figure out what JJ McCarthy is capable of. And I think, and I feel very strongly that the Vikings are aligned with that. And so away we go, I believe, November 2nd. And yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the remaining schedule. I mean, that Bears game on, what is it, November 16th? I don't know by the time we get there if the Vikings will be favored. I get it, it's here, but the way the Bears are trending, maybe the Vikings are only favored in one game the rest of the year. Hey, the way Jackson Dart is playing, maybe the Vikings won't even be favored at the New York Giants in December. I mean, I just saw, you know, and I don't know what formula they used, and there's a million ways to look at it. It's a lot of subjectivity, but I saw that the Vikings going over 9.5 wins, the percent chance now is below 20%. And hey, I'll admit, Phil, you and I were on board last week. I thought the Vikings would beat the Eagles. I was wrong. I thought preseason the Vikings would get to 10 victories. At this point, not looking real good. But as long as we have some sort of book by early January on JJ McCarthy, I can't necessarily view this season as a failure.
I can't. I'm gonna ask this, and I can't tell if the spirit of this question is coming from just like my algorithm tunnel vision in some of the deep depths of Vikings YouTube and Twitter, or if it's representative of the larger fan base. But I do feel like there is an anxiousness about whether JJ McCarthy, even if he's healthy, whether he can play. whether he's good. There's a layer of sometimes you just need, as you saw with Darnold and Baker and some of these guys, sometimes it just takes 30 or 40 starts. Josh Allen needed 30 starts before his accuracy clicked in. And in a world where we just want and can get instant gratification now, that's not the way it works, especially with quarterbacks on the younger side, like McCarthy came in as a young quarterback. But all of that is kind of a preamble to ask you guys, why is there so much uncertainty about Kevin O'Connell's ability to get JJ McCarthy to a point at some point this year or next year where he can be a capable quarterback? After we saw it with Darnold, we certainly saw it with Kirk Cousins in some high leverage situations that he wasn't as successful in at previous points in his career. Well, it feels like there's a lot of skepticism about this, whereas I think there should be confidence that Kevin O'Connell, once McCarthy is physically able, that he can get McCarthy to play at a high level.
Yes, I mean, KOC's track record speaks for itself. I'll tell you this much. In a couple years, if McCarthy hasn't figured things out, I don't know if he ever will. That's how much faith I have in Kevin O'Connell. That there is truth in, oftentimes organizations fail quarterbacks. Quarterbacks don't fail organizations. Now, for every Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold example you can cite, Phil, we can cite Jamarcus Russell or Josh Rosen or any number of first-round busts. For me, I've always been bullish on JJ McCarthy. I don't have any reason to waver from that. Now, maybe it's just me being incredibly stubborn, but based on his body of work at Michigan, IMG Academy, Nazareth in the Chicago area, those who have worked with JJ McCarthy, the way they talk about JJ McCarthy, not only on the record, but on background, I'm a huge believer. I'm not Thor Nystrom, but I'm a huge believer in JJ McCarthy. There has to be some level of patience. He played one game and then 3/4 of another game. The last quarter, the ankle was pretty messed up. That was adrenaline. Okay, and I get it. Stunk the first 3 quarters in Chicago. Fine in the fourth quarter in Chicago. Stunk against Atlanta. So we have 8 quarters of a body of work, 7 of which stink. That doesn't mean he's a bust. That doesn't mean overall he's got no future. Let's just let this thing play out. I'm okay with that. But I'm such a believer, not only in KOC, but also in Josh McCown, that in a couple of years, if we revisit this conversation, let's say October of 2027, and JJ McCarthy hasn't shown us anything, he's been benched, he's been relegated to some sort of backup role, okay. I don't know if at that point I'd get on board with, 5-6 years from now, he's the next Baker Mayfield.
My feeling is this: buckle up. And here's why. Sam Darnold came here after a year in San Francisco, and he had a ton of experience. And you know what we didn't really have to have? Like he did have bad games, don't get me wrong, but it wasn't like his first month was bad. So he came here sort of an unpolished product, but he had a lot of polishing that had been attempted. And he worked with KO, and for the most part, it worked brilliantly. Kirk Cousins. I mean, you could make a case that Kirk Cousins, his statistics weren't as good necessarily with KO, but what did he do? He elevated him in crunch time. He elevated him. This is the first time that KO is working with a piece of clay as opposed to sort of a more formed piece of clay. So I think the impatience is, well, why isn't it working yet? Well, it's the first time you've had a draft pick. And then we default to, well, it's Christian Ponder then, because Christian Ponder failed. So this guy's going to fail. So I'm dead serious, Purple Daily Nation, when I say this, buckle up, because we're going to have to find out. And it's going to be bumpy. And we're going to go through the mountains here. And there's going to be snow on the roads. And we're going to slide around. It's going to get scary.
Are we going to put chains on our tires?
Well, you know what? We might have to at times for game planning purposes, for play calling purposes. We might have to have some damn chains on our tires. But that's the difference. Like we just think that Darnold was this guy that came here without the year in San Francisco, which we always forget about now, and that he just became brilliant. And we're like, well, that's how you fix a guy. Well, it's not. It's not how you fix a guy. You fix a guy through process, and this is going to be a process. So like on November 2nd, if you think JJ McCarthy is going to come back and now the ankle is healthy and we're going to see fourth quarter Chicago, JJ, we're not. So and the impatience will grow. And those that stick it out might be rewarded, and those who don't are just going to lose patience and tune out. But like, this is very different, in my opinion, than anything that we have seen O'Connell do before.
Yes, fair. I also think it's fair to say, let's see JJ with healthy Christian Darrisaw at left tackle,
Yeah.
with Jordan Addison at wide receiver.
Yep.
Now, Ryan Kelly, okay, I need to pause there. Although, so in the locker room yesterday, Ryan looked pretty good. Take that however you want to.
It makes me uncomfortable to think
there
about.
There are larger
playing.
conversations,
but it's his brain.
That much more susceptible to another concussion, right? Already 2 documented this year, 5 or 6 in his career, I guess going back to his collegiate career at Alabama, right? So to me, there are larger conversations to be had. Maybe they've already taken place. So need to pause a little bit on Ryan Kelly. But just the idea that JJ did not have minimum Darrisaw, Addison. Can I see JJ with those 2 guys in there among the 11 on offense?
Yeah. There are a lot of names again on the injury report here, and you've got some intel and some thoughts for sure on some of these. So let's go through some of the other non-quarterback related guys on this injury report here in just a second. Let me grab my little Pepsi cup here, because this right here is the official beverage, Pepsi that is, of the Minnesota Vikings. The guy on this Pepsi cup is the official GOAT of Vikings wide receivers, or Randy Moss is in that mix too. But these Justin Jefferson souvenir cups you can get at Buffalo Wild Wings. When you stop into a B-Dubs in the Twin Cities, you order 12 wings of any kind and a Pepsi. They'll give you one of these commemorative souvenir Justin Jefferson cups. There's a QR code on the side. If you scan that, you can enter to win Victor's Ride, which is your very own Polaris ATV. Victor, as he has done the last couple of years, will bring it right to your house, whoever wins this thing. So check them out, these Pepsi souvenir cups at Buffalo Wild Wings in the Twin Cities. You can also get them at Hy-Vee Fast and Fresh locations and inside U.S. Bank Stadium when the Vikings come back home in a couple of weeks. So shout out to Pepsi and shout out to Buffalo Wild Wings as well. And shout out to Awaken 180, Doogs, who's helped you drop a bunch of pounds the last month or so.
Yeah, before we get to some Vikings injury news, Phil, Friday, 16-year wedding anniversary. I think back to October 24th, 2009. Your brilliance as an MC. So much fun. So I think about how I felt 16 years ago. That's how I feel right now. I think about how I looked 16 years ago. Trending in that direction thanks to Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Awaken180weightloss.com. I am eating and I'm losing weight. My coach Patrick lays out a plan. What to eat, when to eat. It's working. No exercise necessary. No calorie counting. How beautiful is that? Eating to lose weight. Feeling really, really good. That extra notch on the belt buckle. Fantastic. Wearing pants I haven't worn in many, many months. Great. Getting told compliments. It makes you feel good, right? Judd taking all sorts of heat on social media for his Dallas Turner opinion, right? It's part of what we do, right? Thick skin, you take a lot of heat. Well, on occasion, when we are fed compliments, it feels really good. I'm getting fed some compliments because I'm down nearly 20 pounds here in my 7th week. Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Schedule your free consultation, awaken180weightloss.com. That's awaken180weightloss.com, or you can call them 1-844-346-1800. 1-844-346-1800. Awaken 180 Weight Loss. It absolutely works.
I'm gonna leave the full participants off of this conversation because like Donovan Jackson is still on here with a wrist. He played. He's going to play. Not a big deal. Tyrone Ingram Dawkins with a hip. Full participant. Wentz is going to play. Does have a left shoulder. The guys who are either limited or did not practice. And by the way, the Monday report is an estimation because they didn't do anything on Monday on the field. So you're literally estimating. Tuesday is a walkthrough for them. And then today they're traveling. So like they're actually not practicing beyond a walkthrough for this Thursday game. But CJ Ham with a hand injury has not practiced. Brian O'Neill with the knee is a DNP. My guess is because he played last week, My guess is this is just, hey, it's a Thursday game. You're a vet. Let's just get you off your feet for a few days. Aaron Jones, clock is ticking now. You got the 3-week window opened up with that hamstring. Xavier Scott with a wrist, limited. Van Ginkel with the neck, limited. So go ahead and sift through that bin of injury, guys. What do you know, Dukes?
All right, CJ Ham. I feel bad. Like, he's been Mr. Durable. Left hand injury. I don't even know the play that he hurt the hand on, if it was a special teams play or one.
It was the one where he was wide open in the flat and he was holding his hand in the air and shaking it, throw me the football. I think that's
he slammed it. He got to the bench and slammed it, rightfully so, I'm sure.
That one, I mean, how did Wentz miss Hawkinson? So open. Like, that should have been an easy throw.
That's like the Addison one.
We can go up and down the list. I mean, even some of those completions to Jordan Addison, that was Addison doing the work. I mean, the throws could have been so much better. But yeah, CJ Ham, I am told, out tomorrow night. So missed the first 4 games, knee issue, comes back for the Browns game. Now it's another injury setback for a guy who's been as durable as any Viking the last 5-6 years. Like, he didn't miss games at all before this year. Now he's missing more games with a second injury. Brian O'Neill, I'm with you, Phil. I don't have any specific intel, but you know, that brace is pretty darn bulky. I mean, he played well, I thought, on Sunday. That, hey, why not just give him, you know, whatever rest and recovery he needs leading into tomorrow night, give that to him. By the way, it was 2 walkthroughs yesterday. So yeah, no full-fledged practice, but they had 2 walkthroughs on Tuesday to prepare for tomorrow night. Andrew Van Ginkel, the fact that he's listed, even though, again, not a full practice, but limited, not a full go. He's close. Like, I think maybe November 2nd is a bit more realistic. He's not that far away, though. So at some point here, pretty darn soon, thankfully, the Vikings will welcome back Andrew Van Ginkel. Just not so sure it's tomorrow night. I've not heard anything specific on Xavier Scott that leads me to believe that he won't be able to go. Just the short week just is so darn tricky all around. Right now, it looks like Joe Alt, my guy Joe Alt from Totino Grace High School, back for the Chargers. I know he told some Chargers media yesterday that he plans on playing. You think about the Chargers losing, 3 of their last 4, coincided with Joe Alt going down. He's so darn good.
That's a big deal for them. That will be a
problem for the Vikings D-line.
They've allowed, because they lost Rashawn Slater, who's one of the best left tackles in the league, and Joe Alt they drafted to maybe long-term play left tackle at some point, but then you got him at right tackle, moving over to left tackle, was awesome early. And so he's been out, and they have allowed on 40% of dropbacks Justin Herbert to be pressured. But if he comes back, it kind of clicks things into place for that offense. So it's kind of bad timing for the Vikings to get Joe Alt coming back potentially.
I mean, he is so freaking good. Like, it would be dumb at this point to say, like, on a Hall of Fame path, right? He's too young, but hey, you could have conversations with our guy Booney. I mean, you know, Alex Boone worked with Joe pre-draft, still works with him to this day, but Joe is so good. Like, to me, multi-time All-Pro. The next contract he signs is going to be enormous. I guess I'm bearing the lead. I mean, Aaron Jones has been trending in the right direction. Now, again, short week makes me pause ever so slightly, but the hamstring's in a good place. So, like, I think Aaron Jones, he's in a position to be back. Now, you know, if they just say, hey, Thursday night compared to Sunday, okay, let's hold him out one more. But my understanding is when he went down that the Chargers game was always realistic. So I've not been told of any sort of setback. I'll also tell you that I received an email this morning on something promotional-wise that Aaron is doing in the very near future. If I want to connect with him, to me, it's coinciding with his return to the football field. Maybe I'm reading between the lines a little bit. I know it's a Wednesday, not a Thursday, so maybe some reckless speculation Thursday on my part. But that email this morning I received made me think even more, just, you know, kind of affirming what I've been told going back weeks, that this looked like, much like Blake Cashman, that Aaron Jones could return after missing the minimum 4 games.
So, Dukes, on Kelly, do you suspect that once his stint on the IR is done, that he is coming back at that point? Like, what is because it feels like something that, it's the brain. So it should be handled very delicately and defer to him completely. But that being said, if he can come back and play at full strength, that's an upgrade. And they didn't trade for a center. Brandel, I guess, is going to stay there. So what is the sense of beyond our biases about don't come back unless you're sure, what is the sense of Ryan Kelly's potential return at center?
Well, first off, I'm Blake. So, for what it's worth, KOC said on yesterday that he's not willing to divulge who's starting at center tomorrow night. So could it be Juergens? Will it be Blake? I know Blake had a couple hiccups on Sunday, but I tend to think you're on to something there with Blake over Juergens. Yep. Here's what's interesting. If you go back, you could Google Ryan Kelly, Indianapolis Colts concussion. He went on record last year with Colts media after suffering a concussion, just what the future could look like if he suffers another concussion. Well, now we're talking 2 more concussions after those comments a year ago. And just reading those comments, that's where I pause. Like, we're talking about the next 20 to 30 to 40 years of his life. Sometimes it's forgotten. Concussion, that is an injury to the brain, literally an injury to the brain.
Right.
And so that's where I need to pause. Yeah. So I thought he looked good, not allowed to talk because he's on IR, right? So he wasn't able to do anything in the locker room with us media-wise yesterday. But I'm just telling you, from my own observation, he looked good. He was in a good spot, right? But I think much larger discussions either have taken place or soon will take place, because I just don't know, after 2 concussions so close to each other with his concussion history, how, if you're Ryan Kelly, you keep going.
Not that my opinion matters in his life, but I don't want him to play anymore. He's been a really good player and he's had a really good career. He's made a bunch of money, but I just it makes me uncomfortable thinking about. I was talking on O-line committee to Jeremiah and Alex about this too, and they both. I said, am I being soft? I just don't think he should play anymore. And they're like, no, dude, you are 100% right. As former, those guys spent 16 combined years doing it, and you basically do whatever you can to get back for the next week. But concussions are different, and I would just feel uncomfortable personally with him coming back this season. I don't need to see him again.
Again, let's make this very clear. It's our opinions, okay? But I'm with you, Phil. I hope we don't see Ryan Kelly play again. I really don't.
Being a veteran observer of this league, though, you guys, if they don't make a trade for a center by the deadline on November the 4th, it feels like he's tracking to come back.
I don't think they're trading for a center.
Well, but my point is,
doing their due diligence at this point, I don't know if they're making any trade, Judd, but certainly, they're on the phone. It's literally their job, right?
No, I know.
Grigson and others are reaching out. I'm fine with listening. They're initiating some dialogue, but I don't think they're trading for a center.
Right, but Dukes, my point is this. If they don't get a center in the building, I don't think that they are comfortable with what they have. I think they're trying to make do with it. My point is this league at the end of the day remains very brutal. It feels, just from my observational skills, like he is tracking to come back.
I wouldn't be shocked. I'm just saying my own personal opinion is
I agree with you
about his well-being.
Agreed.
Not that I claim to know him real well, but just having some one-on-one conversations, going back to minicamp and training camp, and just really enjoying those conversations, really liking Ryan Kelly, the person.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about his well-being for the rest of his life. So that's just my own opinion. I hope he doesn't play. I'm with Phil on that. But I hear you, Judd. I wouldn't be shocked. Why is he in the locker room yesterday, right? He was thinking about retiring. Why is he at the facility? So sure, signs point to, November 9th against Baltimore, US Bank Stadium, Ryan Kelly snapping to JJ McCarthy. Hopefully a healthy JJ McCarthy coming out of the Lions game, right? I get it. Signs point to that, but I'm just thinking about his own personal well-being.
One last thing for you here, and I'm gonna throw a grenade into the room, and we can touch on it quickly, but let's pinpoint this one for a longer discussion for another time. So the Vikings have a lot of work to do before the league year starts in March to get cap compliant. They've got to find a way to probably say goodbye to some veteran players because they did a lot. They built up a lot of big contract numbers the last 2 years in free agency, especially, and the internal extensions. And it all kind of bubbles up for 2026. TJ Hawkinson for next year has a $21.5 million cap hit. And I don't think he has any guaranteed money left cash-wise on that deal that has 2 years left after this year. Do you think TJ Hawkinson is a Viking in 2026?
I don't. Certainly not at that number, right? I mean, if he wants to come back on a pay cut, okay, I can listen on that. Now, I'm trying to figure out, like, deep down, how does TJ feel right now about this offense? I mean, lack of targets. But is it him? Has he lost a step? I don't know. I mean, we could do a deep analysis on the future of TJ Hawkinson and the player he is today compared to a couple of years ago. But certainly that number, Phil, no, absolutely not. I mean, the other one I would think about is Javon Hargrave. I mean, that was weird on Sunday, his lack of snaps. What is the money on Hargrave's contract next year? But you're right. There are some very interesting decisions coming in March.
Yeah. So it was just, well, there's a lot to come back to there. It's more of a long-term discussion. Duke's great stuff. Darren Doogie Wolfson from
I'll
the
also
5
have Blake
Eyewitness
Cashman
News.
feeling good coming out of Sunday's game. I foresee the same linebacker rotation. I mean, Ivan Pace Jr. has been benched. You know, and it was good to see Harrison Smith. I wasn't sure. I mean, I knew he was cleared to play a lot more snaps. Wasn't sure how the Vikings would use him against the Eagles, but it was nice to see Harry back in there for the amount of snaps that we're used to.
Yep. All right, Dukes. Good stuff, man. So, Dukes, you're going to be on Flagrant Howls tomorrow, breaking down the first Wolves game and some other things Wolves related, and then we'll catch you back on Purple Daily again next week.
I like it, Phil. Sat down with Matt Lloyd, Wolves GM, the other day. Caught up with my guy Kendrick Perkins, my other guy Tom Crean the other day. So I got the Wolves on my mind for sure. Look forward to that tomorrow.
Love it.
See you,
Love it. All right, Darren
All right, boys.
Doogie Wolfson
Yeah.
for the Sports Dad Judd. I'm Phil. 365 days a year of Vikings takes here on Purple Daily.